Hold on to your hats, folks, because the following real-life story will have you dropping your jaws in shock. People often say that movies are unrealistic, but then reality comes up and says, "Hold my beer," and then proves that real life is stranger than fiction. For example, did you know that in December 1964, a French embassy worker named Bernard Boursicot met an opera singer named Shi Pei-pu and then later entered into an intimate relationship with a Chinese national? For about 20 years, the two had a happy and great relationship. At some point in those 20 years, when Boursicot was stationed outside of China, he saw Shi infrequently, but they maintained their intimate relationship. She later showed Bernard a picture of a 4-year-old child that she insisted was the son born from their relations. By the year 1992, Bernard had managed to arrange for both she and the child to join him in Paris. At a point, Bernard began leaking confidential information about the French embassy and giving it to Shi Pei-pu. One source says he did this because he wanted to help his lover get a better position in the Chinese party, but Wikipedia claims he was blackmailed by the Chinese government after they found out about his affair with Shi Pei-pu. Whatever the truth is, confidential information, consisting of over 500 documents, was passed on to the Chinese. But in June of 1983, everything blew up in his face as both he and his lover Shi Pei-pu were arrested by the French authorities for the crime of espionage. Now this is where the shocking part of the story comes in. It was discovered that Shi Pei-pu, the woman Bernard had put so much on the line for, was actually a man. And for 20 long years he had somehow managed to bamboozle Bernard into thinking he was a woman. Where did the son she presented to Bernard as theirs come from? Well, it turns out that the boy was simply a poor child that she purchased from his mother in China's Xinjiang province. But how in the world could Bernard Boursicot have been fooled so thoroughly, you might ask? After all, female and male anatomy are two starkly different things, and the two cannot possibly be confused. So how did she pull off such an unbelievable scam? Well, he had his ways. While in police custody, she explained that he had hidden his privies to convince Boursicot that he was a woman. And French doctors sent to examine, she discovered, he could create the appearance of having female privies using his special method. I unfortunately can't tell you how she did, because YouTube won't allow it, but can check out the Wikipedia link in the description so you can read about what she did yourself. Apart from she hiding his privies, in his diary Bernard recorded he had previously had sexual relations only with fellow male students in his school days, but wanted to meet a woman and fall in love. He further said that whenever they were being intimate, she would insist doing it in total darkness. So I guess that explains that. Although to be honest, this explanation still beggars belief because when Bernard first met he was dressed as a man. But apparently she explained this away to Bernard by saying he dressed like a man in order to satisfy his father's need for a son. Upon discovering the truth of their relationship, Bernard attempted suicide by slitting his throat, but fortunately he survived. Predictably though, the story of Bernard and Shi's long-term affair made its way into the public, and the scandal made Bernard a laughingstock, as well as the subject of widespread ridicule in France. In 1986, both Shi and Bernard were sentenced to 6 years in prison for espionage, but the very next year, the president of France, François Mitterrand, pardoned them both and called the whole affair a very silly and unimportant case. After his release, Shi went back to being an opera singer. He was reluctant to share the details of his relationship with Bernard Boursicot, stating that he used to fascinate both men and women and that what he was and what they were didn't matter. She spoke infrequently with Bernard over the subsequent years. However, in the months before Shi's death, at the age of 70, he told Bernard that he still loved him. Bernard, however, was unmoved by the declaration. When informed of Shi's death, he is quoted stating, "He did so many things against me that he had no pity for. I think it is stupid to play another game now and say I am sad. The plate is clean now. I am free." So there you go, folks. What do you think of this real-life story? Can you think of a story more shocking? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.